Hey guys, it's Tyler McKinney back here again, and today we're going to talk about the XFL, and we're going to get back in our series of why I think that the XFL is going to succeed. All right, let's go ahead and let's get into it. All right, today we're going to be talking about the third reason that I believe that the XFL is going to succeed, and it's pretty much their TV deal. Now, I think that some of you might be skeptical of their TV deal and might look at it and say, well, yeah, the AAF had a TV deal and look what happened to them. Well, hopefully after maybe a little bit of insight and looking at things a little bit deeper, you might actually look at this slightly different and in a different light than what the AAF, because when I look at it, I see them as totally two different things and two different setups, and I feel like this one is a much better deal that McMahon and the XFL and Oliver Luck have put together that was not there for the AAF. So let's go ahead and let's dive into this. So we know that the XFL is going to be aired on ABC, it's going to be on ESPN, and it's going to be on Fox and Fox FS1. Now, we know that these games, you're going to have some on ABC, then you're going to have them on ESPN, and you're going to have then some of the games on Fox, and they're going to be airing them on FS1, which is a cool thing, and you're kind of looking at me like, okay, Tyler, what's the big deal? The AAF, they were on ABC, and then they pushed them to, ABC Sports, and then, TNT, and that with it. So what's the big deal here? Well, the big deal is in how things are structured and how they have this setup. Now, we really don't know a whole lot about the details of what all that's going to be happening, but we do know is that they set up a multi-year deal. What that entails, I have no clue. And you and I both know that, these larger companies, the way that they set things up, the way that they put their contracts together and their deals together, it's probably something to where if they wanted to, they could back out after the first year if things don't go the way that they want. But that's not what I'm looking at. Now, right now, I'm kind of going through and looking at one of the articles that was put out by the Chicago Tribune, and I think that they have some really interesting statements in here. So one of the things that's really interesting to me is that, well, first off, let's go ahead and let's start right off the bat, and let's just put exactly what the XFL is doing. So they're going to have a total of 43 games. So it's going to be a 10-game season for each one of the 8 teams, which is going to give us the 40 games, and then they're going to have 3 playoff games, right? So they're going to have the top 2 teams from each one of the conferences or divisions, and then they're going to play each other, and then that's going to get us down to 2 teams, and they're going to play each other. So those are the other 3 games. So it'd be 43 games. So, and we know that 24 of those are going to be televised on ABC or Fox, and then the other ones are going to be on ESPN, ESPN2, FS1, and FS2. So that's how things are going to be set up through this. But what I want to look at is I kind of want to look at how they've made some of these statements in this. That they're looking at things with it. Let me get to it here real quick. Okay, so ABC will be broadcasting the league's first game, and Fox will have games on Saturday and Sunday during the XFL's opening weekend. ESPN will show the championship game. Now, the 8-team league has set its schedule with the most games on Saturday and Sunday airing back-to-back. The final 2 weeks will have a Thursday night game on Fox. The technical innovations with cameras and data and player tracking are extremely interesting, said Burke Magnus, ESPN's executive vice president of programming. We all share a vision for spring football, and Vince has made it clear that with this version, he is dropping hokey, but not dropping creativity, which is a good thing. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to ESPN and the XFL, they're trying to put together some creative things and a different way to look at football, a different way to broadcast football, which I think is going to be really cool. So, it's funny. The NFL has really adopted a lot of things that other leagues have tried over the years. And we can go into even their current camera system was not something that they developed themselves. It was actually something from the XFL that they took and adopted for them. So McMahon's already been an innovator in this area. So for him to team up with ESPN and have that backing from ESPN is huge. Okay, so let's go ahead and, again, I'm looking at this article from the Chicago Tribune. And so one of the things that I find really interesting is what they say about in this article. It says the AAF has paid up most of the production costs for the games, while the XFL is not paying anything to the networks. Silverman said that Fox was able to examine the league's financial plan before making a commitment. That's huge, and that's saying a lot there. There's two things that are being said there, which, if you haven't really dove into the kind of the deal that much, you're going to kind of see that these are huge things that are happening here. The first thing that they said is that the way that things were done is totally different. The AAF was paying for all of the production on these networks that they were on. So they were fronting the money. They were get on these networks. Whereas the XFL, they're not paying for any of the production of this stuff. That is solely being taken on by Fox and by ESPN. And I know some of you out there have made comments that, well, their TV deals, they're not getting paid for any of this TV deal. They might not off the bat, but they're not paying for it either. So that is a cost that they're not incurring that the AAF did incur. The other thing is that if you remember, Fox and ABC, Disney, ESPN, they're all the same thing. ABC and ESPN. Now, Fox is its own entity. But for them not to bring on the AAF is a huge statement. Meaning that for them to take on the XFL, it shows that McMahon has put the finances in place, that this thing is not just put out there, rushed out there. It has the finances to back it, to take it for the long haul, to put some time in there, to put some energy in there, to really make it a good product. And so as we continue to look at this, you need to take those two things to heart, because the way that the AAF was set up and the way that the XFL is set up are totally different. And you can definitely see where things are structured more financially in just this TV deal, and how much more solid the XFL is on standing ground than what the AAF was. So I'm really looking at this. This is going to be a way for them to succeed, because not only have we seen that, all right, they've given the Fox and ABC, ESPN has given the XFL some primetime slots in the spring, but they're also setting up commentators and staff to follow and to work on the XFL material. So they're already ramping up and getting ready to produce stuff for the XFL. So we didn't really see that with the AAF, when the AAF was on TV and people were following the AAF. And the other thing that I find really interesting with the TV deal is that even with the TV deals set up the way that they were still pulling in the AAF a 0.4 as an average for their viewers. And on the stations that they were on, with the limited exposure that they had and limited marketing that they had, that's huge. Those are great numbers for what they were and where they were setting up. So it's definitely something that's really going to play to the advantage of the XFL, because one, they don't have any competition, so they're the only game out there. And the other thing is they're on the networks where football people, are going to be. They're on ESPN, they're on ABC, they're on Fox. Those are all networks that everybody are used to watching for college football, for pro football. So, I mean, they're already tuned in there. And not only that, but they're tuned into that for, Sports Center to get their sporting news, their sports talk radio stuff and that. So people are already filtering there. And so if they're already putting that on their programming, they're going to be promoting it also in their other shows and things like that, to where I really think that this is a huge advantage that they have over the AAF that the AAF didn't have. And I really think I wouldn't be surprised if you really start seeing them averaging, in the 1 millions, like a 1.1 is probably somewhere I think they could easily be on an average. With that, especially with them regularly being on the major network, not just their first game like the AAF did. So I don't know. I find a lot of encouraging things in this, and when you actually get down to the nitty gritty, they actually have a really decent TV deal. And I think if they set up something that Fox and ESPN can make money off of, I think it's really going to be something that's going to be not only make the XFL a staying power, but actually make them and make the networks money very, very quickly. So anyways, those are just some thoughts that I had on really the XFL and their TV deal and what I think. And that's really the third reason of why I think that the XFL is going to succeed, is because they've got a really good TV deal. When you really get down to brass tacks and you really look into it and really what it's structured around and how it's structured. But like in all cases, those are just my thoughts. The question is, what do you think? What do you think about the TV deals? Do you think that they're good? Do you think that they're terrible? Would you like to see something different? Are you still skeptical? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. I'd really like to have a conversation with you. All right. Well, I know that you guys are busy and I know that I'm busy, so let's get on out of here. You have a good night. Bye.